Thank you, Jesse. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my presentation. Today, I'm very glad to be here in my hometown, because I come from Shanghai, and to have the chance to talk something about the topic that I am really interested in. The future of modern logistics and supply chain management under the Industry 4.0. Before I started, I have one question for all of you. I got this question since last time I visited the Natural History Museum. There are so many animals in ancient time. For example, dinosaurs. They are so fast, they are so strong, so powerful, and some of them are also so intelligent as the human being. But where are they now? They are not existing anymore. Why? Why the human being could be so successful in the evolution? Could anything be learned in our business life? Because we have to survive in the competition either. Since last 12 years, I have been working on logistics and supply chain management. Today, we are talking about Industry 4.0, which has also a very important impact on logistics and supply chain management. And we have to face to the new requirements, have to face to the new technologies we have heard before, and we have faced to the new challenges on the market. We call this new area Logistics 4.0. In the next few minutes, I would like to list some main questions about Logistics 4.0 from my point of view. And I would like to use one case study that we have at the moment in Hamburg, Germany, to share some experience with you. Certainly, some project background are necessary for you to understand the challenge that we have. After all kinds of research, we have identified the bottlenecks and also found some approaches to solve the problems. After that, I would like to share some experience as lessons learned through this project and come back to the question that I have listed at the beginning to show you our answers about them. Sorry. Can I go back? Yes, that's right. If we are talking about Industry 4.0, in this case the Logistics 4.0, the first question in my mind is, what is the real difference between the things we have today and we had yesterday? Even 15 or 20 years ago, at least in European countries, a lot of automatic solutions were used in different parts of the industry, even in the logistics. Why today we call it Industry 4.0, but not 15 years ago? And the second question I have, today we have so many new technologies. We talk about virtual reality, we talk about big data, we talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence. But what kind of technology should be used in my business in the next few months? And I'm working for a traditional company, and we have to face to the question, how does the return on investment look like? Because I am responsible for the P&L, and I have to answer this question to our management, to our shareholder, and even to our business partners in the supply chain. With these questions, I would like to give you an overview about this project based in Hamburg, Germany. Altogether, we have around 78,000 pallet bin locations for a leading FMCG company, and around 20,000 pallet locations are also for the dangerous goods, which makes us one of the biggest dangerous goods warehouse in Europe. You can see here in the picture, we have the automatic high bay rack system for the storage, and we use also a lot of high-tech solutions with packing robot, with pick-by-voice, and automatic loading system, unloading system. On average, we will manage 150 trucks per day for in and outbound, and over 10,000 order lines per day will be delivered to the different customers around the world. Although we have high automatic warehousing solutions, there are over 250 employees are working dedicated for this business. In the last few years, we were very successful, and our customer is also very satisfied with our performance. But now we have to face the new challenges. Our customer is very optimistic in the future and are expecting more sales volumes in the next few years, and are also expecting the additional capacity in our warehouse. As we all know, it is quite expensive to set up such a high automatic warehouse, and it is much more expensive to change it and to generate additional capacities, even if you have more space. And we have also noticed that the capacity that at the moment we have is much lower than the physical capacity of each conveyor systems, which means the whole system is not working very efficiently. Some changes should be done. Through different kind of analysis and research, we have identified the bottlenecks and where are the real problems. First, some slow movers pallets slow down the total conveyor system for loading. It happens quite often that we have to wait for the last 2 pallets of a delivery for over 20 minutes. Second, on-time arrival of trucks are not reliable. After we have done our works, sometimes we have be informed that the truck will arrive 2 hours later, which means the most important area of this warehouse and the conveyor system will be blocked in the next 2 hours, which leads to the downtime of the completed conveyor systems. In this facility, we are working with the machines. Some unexpected errors of them cannot be avoided because, the machines, the parts, and will be defect sooner or later, which will also lead to the downtime of the total system. And fourth, there are still too many additional manual activities and will reduce the efficiency of the total system too. Last but not least, sometimes we don't have enough capacity of the Shanghai service to move sweat bodies and the trailers or the containers from the ramp to the parking place. What I want to say is, altogether, too much downtime and unproductive time are existing in our operation. And we have been working on the solutions. There are some approaches we would like to share with you to get the target. I don't want to go too deep into the detail because we don't have so much time. In order to ensure the pallets to be transferred from bin location on time, we would like that the system define the priority for each pallet. If the pallet has been waited for a very long time, the priority will be raised automatically from the system, by the systems. Which means after 15 minutes, this pallet will have the higher priority compared with others. Latest in 1 hour, the pallet will be moved from the bin location. Second, to ensure the trucks arrive on time and avoid the waiting time. Today, we always we want to use the KPIs to force the transporting the service provider to arrive on time, but sometimes even the KPI will not help because we have the very close time slot for the truck drivers. Imagine if you are the truck driver and you have an urgent delivery from Beijing to Shanghai and you have to touch the time slot for around half an hour. It is nearly impossible. And our approach is to improve the forecast quality. That means 1 hour before the time slot, and the truck driver should tell us where he is now. And to use his GPS position, it is possible for us to know whether he will arrive in 1 hour or not. Please remember 1 hour. And we don't have the confirmation of this truck driver, and we will not begin to put the pallet out of the highway rack. That means use the method 1 and 2. It is possible for us to reduce the possibility that one pallet will block the total warehousing area. And we have also used the third one, the Internet of Things technology, to support and optimize the maintenance of the machines. That means it is not possible for us to avoid that the parts will be defect in the future, but we can know it as early as possible, and we will change the parts in the night shift and to reduce the downtime time of the machines. The fourth, and we are also want to set up the label machines to eliminate the wasted time of conveyor system, because in this case our workers don't have to do anything to the pallet, don't have to print the labels and to put them on the pallet, and his job will be replaced by the machines, and we can win a lot of time. Although if we look at the investment of this part, to invest several hundred thousand euro and to reduce the 2 or 3 hours per day, maybe it's not worth. But from the big picture, it's a very good investment because we win 2 or 3 hours capacity per day for our very expensive conveyor system. Last but not least, sometimes we don't have enough capacity for the shunting service on the industry park, and we have achieved to motivate and to convince the neighborhood to help us, because in the industry park you will always find some trucks, you will always have some transportation companies, and they are able to use their truck for us to move 1 or 2 containers from the ramp to the parking area, and they will be paid additionally by us. I'm willing to pay even this job is much more expensive than the usual transportation activities, but I can save a lot of the money and for the waiting and even for the complete additional shift of the trucks and the drivers. Although the project has not been finished, I would like to share some experience with you, and the most important, I think, we have to identify the bottlenecks and solve the real problems. And for the return on investment, we should evaluate the whole project for the whole picture, not for each of them. Use the example of the label machine. You can see it's not worth to invest several hundred euro and to have a machine to reduce the working time for 2 hours, but for the whole project it's worth. And I have noticed we need another kind of the human resources and organization structure in the future for this kind of the project. And the collaboration and the competition with your competitors, with your suppliers should be defined. And in that case, we work also together with our biggest competitor together and to optimize the process. For him, he can reduce the transportation cost for his drivers, and for us, we can optimize the process in warehouse. So last but not least, I think the biggest challenge for this kind of project is to open your mind and to be open for changes and risks. We need very different way of thinking. Not only the workers on the floor, but also the management, the senior management, and also the CEOs should use the different way of thinking. So let's come back to the questions I have listed at the beginning. What is the difference between today and yesterday? My answer is today the connection is more important. The connection to the whole system instead of optimizing in part. What kind of technologies should be used? I think the technologies that solve the real problems and generate the additional values should be used. And how does the return on investment look like? The evaluation should be done in the big picture instead of for each single project. At the end, I would like to use one phrase to finish my speech. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose and a heaven. Thank you very much.
So, is there any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation and also of these 5 different steps. My question is, how did you prioritize which one to tackle first from these 5 topics? Or did you implement them at the same time?
I wish I could, but usually it is not possible in the practice because our resources are also limited. And as mentioned, I need very different kind of the people to take over this kind of the project. He has to fight and with our supplier, with our competitors, and also to challenge the existing systems and also in our operation. You mean these 5 steps, right? Actually, they could be done and on the same time. They are separately. But in the practice, I need always the same person or the same group of person to do this work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.